Hey guys, I'm Jeremy and welcome to my TRT journey. So previously I was like you may be, searching the internet trying to find information on testosterone replacement therapy. See, I can't even say it right yet. And just watching other videos, trying to see if there was anyone out there that was kind of similar to me, maybe where it was background, age, whatever. Just someone that I could relate to that was going through the same thing, how the results were and stuff like that. So that's my aim with making these videos. Hopefully you can find some value in it. So this is the first video. I just got my prescription. So I figured it was a good time to kind of do an overview of everything. So I'm going to go over a little bit about myself, why I started, my blood work, my prescription, and then like some concerns I'm worried about moving forward. So first things first about me, I'm 40 years old. I'm in Northern California. I work from home doing web development. So I'm currently standing at my desk right now. I do stand, I don't sit. I've got two little kids I chase around. They play sports, they keep me busy. My whole life though, I've done sports, whether it was ball sports as a kid, racing motocross. Nowadays it's a lot of cycling actually, both on and off road. So that's kind of my main hobby these days. I play in an adult men's softball league, go play pickleball every now and then. But my background as far as fitness is really kind of rooted in CrossFit. I did CrossFit and coached in Southern California for roughly 7 years or so. Got my level 1 and taught down there for a while. So currently my whole garage is outfitted like a gym. The entire 2-car space has rolled rubber flooring. I've got every piece of equipment from concept to also got a treadmill, an assault runner treadmill, full rig, tons of bars, dip station, wall balls, kettlebells, dumbbells, adjustable bench, everything you would need to work out. So I definitely am a fit person. I eat well, even with kids, you're going to eat some dino nuggets every now and then, but for the most part, we eat pretty well. We don't really eat out a bunch or anything like that. So as far as eating and working out, I've got a good mix of, resistance training and endurance stuff. So, for the most part, just a healthy person in good shape. So I don't take anything right now as far as supplements or anything really. I mean, I'll have a pre-workout. I don't drink coffee. So on a normal day, I'll have a pre-workout, just kind of mostly for the caffeine, just like an optimum nutrition, amino energy type thing. But I will throw in a little bit of beta alanine and creatine every day. Fish oil pill every now and then if the diet's low in fish naturally, I'll take a little bit of fish oil. But other than that, I mean, that's pretty much it. This isn't something that I got to this point due to a physical limitation or anything physically that was really holding me back. So we'll get into that a little bit more. But I'm sure some people will be interested in the the physical gain side of thing. I'm interested myself, so I'm a huge data nerd. So just to share with you guys, I've got my measurements as of today. So kind of a starting point. So I currently weigh 195.3 pounds, 6 foot tall. Muscle mass 163.8 and body fat just above 12%, which comes out to 23.8 pounds of fat. So I always weigh myself first thing in the morning. Like I wake up, go to the bathroom, jump on my little smart scale there. So anytime I mention weights or any sort of measurements like that, it'll be from my smart scale first thing in the morning. So now let's cover why I'm starting testosterone replacement therapy. By the end of this whole series, maybe I'll get it right. I'll just call it TRT from now on. It's a lot easier to do. So going back to September of 2023 is when I had my yearly checkup with my just primary care doctor, and just in a normal conversation, how things are going, I just made mention of recovery was becoming a big problem. Like, for instance, I mentioned I play an men's adult slow pitch softball. So I usually play outfield, and I would stay sore, which, I mean, we're talking days, like 3-4 days, like my glutes would just be killing me just from like the short bursts of like sprints, like to, go chase a fly ball or whatever. That and just just recovery in general, whether it was, riding my bike or playing softball or whatever. Just like my ability to recover from those things was taking days and days, which was not normal going back, a couple years to CrossFit and stuff. So that was one thing. The other thing I mentioned to him was kind of like the motivation. Like I mentioned, I work from home, and it was just becoming really hard to like get motivated to like get my work done. And I just kind of chalked it up to, I work from home. I've been doing it for a long time, pre-COVID and all that stuff. And I was getting burnt out? I don't really know. But the combination of me mentioning those two things, he said, well, we'll add testosterone into your blood work this time. So that's what we did. And I've got some numbers here. Also another one. So those are the only two things I mentioned. I never brought up anything about, erectile dysfunction. That wasn't really an issue. I mean, I'm a married guy. I'm 40. We've got 2 young kids. Like the amount of, let's call it, opportunities that I have to notice whether that was an issue are less these days than they used to be. But it's never been an issue or anything like that. So it was really just the motivation and the recovery thing that I mentioned to him that led him to wanting to add testosterone to the blood work. All right, so let's talk about blood work. So this is going back to September of 2023, and I'll toss the numbers up here on the screen, a little bit easier to look at. But total test was 370, low end to normal, but still in their range that they use of 240 to 871. Free test at 0.23 nanomoles per liter on a normal scale of 0.091 to 0.579. Sex hormone binding globulin 41.3. And if you've researched this, you know how that factors in. I won't go into details here. And then the actual blood count stuff. So I will throw that up here just because that was something I needed a baseline just to see if, I wanted to know if we do start TRT, if that goes up. And he also checked B12, and that was right in the middle of the range at 560. So the response from him was, we're good. Like it's low side of normal, but still within normal, and suggested in 6 months we'll redo it and see where we're at. But these results kind of sent me on like a research spree of like low T symptoms and how your blood work would look with low T. And you can find articles online. It's just like anything else. If you think you want to be on TRT, then you'll find plenty of information saying, yeah, you should be on TRT. If you don't really want to end up going down that route, you can find plenty of things that say it's a bad idea. So I try to keep an open mind, but I did start researching things. So fast forward 6 months, more blood work. And this time we did a little bit more. We did a couple more hormones, luteinizing hormone and FSH, which is follicle stimulating hormone. So I'll throw those numbers up and just talk about those real quick. So total test dropped to 177, free tests 0.11, and the sex hormone binding globulin, SHBG, roughly the same. And then the blood work, which still within range. But the 2 extra tests he did, so the luteinizing hormone came back 1.2, and the range they use is 1.5 to 9.3. And the FSH was 3.6 on a scale of 1.4 to 18.1, low end of normal. I didn't really look too much into that to know if that was actually good, bad to be on the low side or whatever, but it was still within range, so I didn't really pay much attention to it. So the test obviously dropped quite a bit. I mean, that's pretty much half. Sorry, I keep looking over trying to reference the number. So that's about half of where they were before. And the doctor replied and said, what do you think about TRT? And I said, well, maybe, I don't know, let's have a conversation. So I had a follow-up call with him and we went over things. And one thing he mentioned was that luteinizing hormone being low in conjunction with the low test kind of raised a little bit of a red flag, and he wanted me to see an endocrinologist, which specializes in hormones. And so I called them, or they called me after they got the referral, and their first appointment was August. I'm like, August, that's not gonna work. Like, if something is wrong, I don't wanna wait till August. So he was wanting to get an MRI of my pituitary gland, because that's kind of where all these hormones originate. And so messaged my primary back and said, hey, they're out till August, I don't wanna wait. And so he sent in an MRI referral and got that pushed through. So I went in and got an MRI. Results came back for my pituitary gland, and I have what's called partially empty sella, which is kind of the home for your pituitary gland is not full of pituitary gland, it's full of spinal fluid. So that could be a potential reason why the hormones are off. Don't really know at this point. Obviously it's May, I haven't seen the endocrinologist yet. So he didn't really offer a ton of explanation. It was kind of just, you'll need to talk to the endocrinologist to kind of figure that out. And one other thing, potential causes, I do have a varicocele of my left testicle, which is kind of the vein down there is kind of like blocked and enlarged. So it looks like I have one large testicle. But those two things, those are two potential causes, I guess, although the doctor didn't seem really worried about the varicocele. So that's kind of where we were at for blood work and MRI. So the next thing will be the dosage. So after those results came back, he said, okay, well, you need to see the endocrinologist, but let's go ahead and get you started on TRT. So the initial dosage he prescribed was 50 milligrams a week, but it was of this really simple to inject, like this like EpiPen looking thing. And he sent over the prescription, and my insurance kind of kicked it back and were like, hey, you need like a prior authorization, we need some paperwork, call your doctor, whatever. So I emailed my primary back and I said, hey, insurance is kind of having an issue. And then I questioned him about the 50 milligrams a week. Seemed really, based on my numbers and stuff I had researched, seemed super low. And I was like, if I was going to go down this route, I don't want to just like, let's go the optimized route, not just like dip our toes in the water, you know? So I'd rather hit the target to begin with, or even overshoot, come back down if I see some side effects or something. So he sent it back over again with just injectable, regular, and at 100 milligrams. So instead of the EpiPen guy, just a regular injectable and at 100 milligrams a week. So pick that up. My wife's going to be the one doing that. Luckily, she's a nurse. She's excited to poke me a couple times a week. And I'm actually going to split it up into 2 dosages. That was one thing from my research that I found that a lot of people were doing, was splitting it up to twice a week. So I'll be doing 50 milligrams twice a week for a combined 100 milligrams a week. So I'm excited to get started. I'm a little bit nervous, just like anyone would be. It's something I'll likely need to do for the rest of my life. So it's kind of a big deal. So there's some nerves there, but for the most part, pretty excited to get started. So the other thing I mentioned that I want to go over is fears, because I do think I have some fears that would be kind of normal. I don't really have a concern with losing my hair. I've been bald, shaving my head for a long time, so not really worried there. If my balls shrink, my wife would probably love that. I mean, let's be honest, who likes as you get older, a big saggy pair of balls? So, those shrinking. I've already got kids, not worried. I'm already snipped, so there's no more kids in the future. So, but things like acne or like having sensitive nipples, like that type of stuff, I mean, I'm worried about that. I mean, I wear bibs when I ride my road bike, and like those go right over my nipples. I don't want to be like, getting a hard on or something if they're sensitive in a good way riding down the road or something. So that's kind of a concern. I don't want to have any mood issues. I've got the kids. I watch them a lot while wife's working, and they're stressful enough as it is. Needles don't really bother me, so that's not really a fear or anything like that. And one main thing is kind of like the cycling. Like cycling is very much a power to weight thing, and I don't want to add a bunch of weight. Like if I add a bunch of weight, I need to also be a lot more powerful, and it's just kind of working against each other. So that's kind of a concern. And then also just like an asterisk being next to all the activities I do from now on, like competitions, stuff like that. It's like in the back of your head, you're like, well, am I performing better because of this? Am I taking too much? Is it actually like performance enhancing? Am I just back to normal, and I would be like this if I was normal naturally? So that's kind of a concern, or not even a concern, just like something that's going to be in the back of my mind. If I stick with this, then I do, see some gains from that. But overall, I really don't want to gain any size. I would love to, ideally I would love to lose size, but I don't carry around a ton of extra body fat. Like I said, I'm around 12%. So there's really not a bunch of offsetting any muscle gains with a loss of fat that I'll be potentially doing. So yeah, moving forward, I mean, I'm pretty in tune with my body and how it responds to things. I always make adjustments one at a time to know if it works or not. You turn a bunch of knobs at once, you don't know, which one made the difference or anything. So I think I'll be a pretty good judge of when I start to notice improvements or side effects or anything moving forward. So my goal here is just to kind of throw it all out there and let you guys know how it's going for me and provide information. Someone else searching on the internet trying to find some information. Hopefully if you're in a similar situation to me, you'll find this helpful and it'll help you in your journey. So if you found this information helpful, make sure you subscribe, and I'll try and keep you guys updated weekly, maybe to start, and then, down the road monthly once stuff starts taking effect. So thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.